I was going to use Microsoft Phone Link to put this phone up on the screen, and up until about 3 hours ago, it was working, and then it decided to not. So right now, you're looking at my phone screen using a program called VNC. I'm using Tight VNC Viewer for Windows and an application on my cell phone called Droid VNC Server. And this is free. Unfortunately, the Apple Store doesn't have one that's free, but that's how I'm showing the screen on the computer desktop. One of the reasons that it's a good idea if you have an Android phone to connect it to your computer with Phone Link is that aside from being able to text message and do things on your computer and transfer photos, if you go into settings, and which is up here in this little gear, and then click down here, there is an option called cross-device copy and paste, and allow Phone Link to access and transfer content between your mobile and your PC. And then you go into settings on your computer, and I just type in the word clipboard in the search box, and it takes you to this page. And what you want to do is enable sync across devices. And so that you're basically, and then automatically sync text that I copy. And what it lets you do is if you copy text or even a picture to the clipboard, you can paste it from one device to the other. If you have two Windows computers, you can paste them between two Windows computers. If you have them an Android phone, what I can show you is I will quickly put the phone screen up over here. I'll bring up an application where I can type, and I will just grab text out of this window on Windows, and I'll hit Control C. And right over here, it says link to Windows, paste has copied your device. And now I can just click on here, and I have hello Lexington, Mass on my cell phone. And then you can do the same thing if you are opening a Windows browser, an Android browser on your cell phone. You can copy the link and open it in a tab on your Windows computer by just simply copy and paste. So that's the Phone Link app. Any questions on that? No?
Hey, Drew, so I was playing with this before, as you know. The only thing I can't do using Phone Link, it appeared, was that I couldn't display my phone on my Windows machine. Is that?
Yeah, that might be a limitation of the iPhone and the software.
Yeah,
iPhone.
right, because I have an iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
And it was on a Windows machine, so
Gotcha.
I should be able to do the sync copy and paste using Phone Link. That is you inferring that?
I would like you to try and let me know.
Okay, fair enough.
And that Apple and Windows have agreed upon a protocol for doing this copying? Because
Exactly the opposite. It's an unknown. I failed dramatically in trying to get the Apple and the Windows
all right
to cooperate.
I gotta say this has been on Apple for a couple of years at least, I think. And does this also allow you to do images the same way?
Yes, if you copy a picture to the clipboard, then you can paste that picture on your other device. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Drew, can you do it the other way? You take a picture from your phone.
Go in both. Yes, whatever you put in the clipboard on either device can go to the other device.
Yeah.
So, but you can't manipulate the phone from your PC screen. You have to go to the device, copy it on the device, and then it'll show up on
Well-
your,
If I am holding my cell phone in my hand, let me go back to the home screen. And if I open up a web browser and I just go to whatever web page I go to, when I click on the bar at the top, this icon right here represents copy. And if I copy that, it says link to Windows has pasted. And I can now go to my Windows computer and it will paste that URL into a browser box. If I had done that with a picture, it would do it with a picture.
okay, so that's one of the things that's added under the covers is the phone knows how to copy between devices.
Yes. And it's using the Link to Windows app on your cell phone. Your cell phone will have a program on it called Link to Windows. That's in the Google Play App Store.
Yeah, and that's available for the iPhone as well. So I don't want to steal your thunder. Go ahead.
So anyway, that is Phone Link. And one of the programs that I do use that I wanted to show you on the Android is an AI tool, considering you guys are doing a lot of AI conversations, is a tool called Perplexity. And I went into Perplexity and I said, tell me about the Lexington Computer Technology Group. And look whose picture came up on the screen.
The face of the group. You're now officially anointed, Bob.
Oh dear.
So,
Oh dear.
Bob, you are on Perplexity.
I should charge royalties.
And it goes on to say that you're a nonprofit organization and that you meet on a wide range of subjects at the Lexington Community Center with some sessions available on Zoom. So pretty accurate. I have a bunch of apps, and I'm going to go through the ones that I think are going to be the more important ones so I don't take up all of the time. The Auto Start app is only valuable to somebody that wants one of their programs to automatically launch every time they reboot their phone. That's essentially what that does. I'm a Tile subscriber, and I have these little Tile attached to my keychain. And in order for it to talk to the phone over Bluetooth, I need to have the app running in the background. So this program starts that for me. It's like putting it in the Auto Start for Windows. If you go to a restaurant at night and it's dark and you don't have your reading glasses and you're old like all of us, chances are you can't read the menu. If you just turn your flashlight on your phone, you can see the menu, but you still can't read the menu. This is an app called Magnifying Glass and Flashlight. And what it does is it lights up your computer or your menu, and then it gives you the ability to zoom in and out with your finger so that you can read the menu. Nice little app to have handy. If you have a stock Android phone, you typically only have a basic file explorer that's only capable of looking at files and directories on your phone, not on your network. CX File Explorer is in the Google Play. All of these are in the Google Play App Store. CX File Explorer is free, and it has 3 sections: local, library, and network. Local is basically just your main storage. Library divides it up into pictures and audio and video. And network has this little yellow circle that says access from network. And if I start the service, I can now go to any computer on my network and type in this FTP address and username and password, and I'll be able to browse and upload and download files from my phone. I have all of these little icons underneath here that are configurations. I went into the plus sign, and you can either link to Google Drive or OneDrive, or if you tap on remote, you have options to go to Windows computers, SFTP servers, and so it gives you a little bit more functionality than you get with the basic File Explorer. Like if you buy a Google Pixel, it comes with a file manager that doesn't understand how to talk on the network. It's just only on your phone. So this is a good tool to have.
In the File Explorer, the files you were showing are the layout of your phone or the layout of the connected computer? I wasn't clear to me.
I got to mute my phone. My phone is answering this question about pixels.
Well, if the phone is right, I'm happy.
What was the question?
Wait, go back to the File Explorer tool for a second.
Oh, okay.
What am I looking at now that which says Dell Surface 7? Well, that's the network. If you click on the local tab,
If I click on local, it gives me main storage, which is
So this is
basically my
what-
entire. This is like looking at your whole C drive on a Windows computer.
okay, so this is local to the PC. Everything is local to the PC. You're
This
not
is
looking-
local to the Android phone. This is local to the Android phone.
Oh, this is everything on the phone.
Not the computer, the phone.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's looking at the file system on the phone.
Yeah, it was obvious from what was in there that that was an Android file system.
Yeah.
All right, obvious to you, but not to me.
I have an Android phone.
Oh,
There we
the app is running on the phone, and
Yeah.
so local is the phone.
right.
And
Thank you, sir.
Windows would be the network.
And library represents what, please?
It just divides it up into images, audios, and videos and documents. It scans your whole. If I tap on images, it'll show me everywhere on my phone. I have an image. I have
Good.
images that are in the camera folder, screenshot folder, in my Facebook folder. This is a picture of my dog and my niece's dog next to each other. So it's a way of looking at your file system in a different way than you get with the stock Android.
Great. Happy Hanukkah to you too.
Uh, um, if you are looking for a nice email program on your Android device, look no further than Canine Mail. It is a great open source application that I've been using it ever since I started on Android, and I haven't looked back. I've got 12 email accounts configured on here, and I can go to any one of them individually, or I can look at a unified inbox. If anything that's unread is in gray, here's one that has, if I go down to settings, what's really nice is I can import and export my settings. So that when I get my next new phone, I install this app, and then I will import all of this stuff, and it just reappears. All I'll have to do is re-enter my passwords, but all of the other settings and will be there. So if you don't like using the standard Gmail app that comes with Android, this is a great alternative choice. I keep the Avast mobile antivirus software running on my phone. It scans automatically all of the files that come down from the App Store. So if somehow a virus gets into the Google Play, and it has happened in the past where some malware has gotten in there, this scans everything and lets you know it's okay before you run it. And that's free in the App Store. Backgammon, it's a game called Backgammon Mighty for those of you who are into backgammon. You can play, but just against the phone or against anyone on the internet around the world. Let's see. If you haven't seen it yet and you have an Android phone, you should know that all Android devices, like Apple devices, have a finding system. And you can go to any of your Android devices and run find device. In fact, you can even go to somebody else's Android device and sign in as a guest. And if you click sign in as guest on someone else's phone, you can temporarily log in as you and find your own phone. I did that once at the dog park when I dropped my phone in the dark and couldn't see it anymore. Somebody else that was there that had an Android phone was nice enough to let me find my phone. So that's a good app to know that you have on your phone if you have an Android. Folder Sync is a really nice app. It's free, and it lets you synchronize anything on your phone to any one of a dozen or more different cloud services. And it also allows you to move files from cloud server to cloud server. So if I create a new folder pair, I can give it a name. We'll call it Lexington. And if I'm in legacy mode, it will only copy between the phone and a cloud. If I go into experimental version, I can now sync cloud to cloud. And so I can, if I want to, set up a two-way sync or a left or right to left or left to right copy or sync between Google Drive and OneDrive, or I back up some of my files to the cloud using this program. We'll quit out of here, and actually, let me show you a listing of all of the different cloud providers they support. They support Amazon S3 and Dropbox and Google Drive and Live Drive and Mega and Nextcloud and Microsoft and pCloud and FTP and SFTP and Windows, web devs. They got lots of stuff, and it's all free. So if you need to take for example, I use the WhatsApp Messenger. It backs up the files to a local backup folder on the Android phone. I take that folder and throw it up on the cloud every night at 1 o'clock in the morning with folder sync.
Can you set that up to automatically do a sync both ways, so that no matter what changes, the other area will be updated? So that you basically in the mirror?
You can do a bidirectional sync, yes, a two-way sync.
Cool.
Round sync, many of you have heard me talk about rClone. Round sync is not in the Google Play App Store anymore. They're trying to get back in, but right now they're on GitHub and also on F-Droid, I think. Round sync is rClone for Android. And here, they support a large number of cloud providers. And you can pick any one of these cloud providers. And one of them, for example, is Google Photos. I can go to my Chromebook and look at my home directory on my Chromebook. This is I'm running Samba for Linux on my Chromebook. And what's nice is you have tasks. And I can say, let me edit a task so you can see it. Once you create the remote, you can assign that remote a task. And I'm saying here that I want to take all of my recordings and sync them from local to remote. I want to take all the files that are in my recordings folder and put them up on my pCloud drive. And that's what this task does. And if I want to, I can manually start the task and it will, somewhere in here, it says there was nothing to do because I did it a little while ago. And then you can set a trigger. I don't have any triggers set up. A trigger is basically making one of these remotes, these tasks happen automatically on a schedule. That's kind of neat. If you go into, this is one thing that I don't know any other app that can do this, and we'll see if I can get it to work. You can set up a remote, not to your Google Drive, but to your Google Photos. And if I tap on album, it should bring up a list of, it will bring up a list of all my albums. If I want to tap over here, I can download all of my pictures of Abby into one folder all at one time without going through Google web interface. If I want to go back to media, I can go in and search by day, by month, or by year. And if I tap on by month, it'll let me select the year. And then I'll say 2024. And then I'll say January, February, March. Oh, I want to back up all of January's pictures. I tap there, tap download, and it will download my pictures. This is available on Windows, Mac, Linux, and Android. And it's free.
Drew, can I ask a question?
Sure.
On the albums, I mean, I use albums on humans, but is it possible to create an album on objects? Let's say, you know, if I want all the photos that have the Minuteman, can I somehow make an album that says Minuteman?
Well, what RoundSync is looking at is the albums that I created using the Google Photos program. So any album name that you can create in Google Photos will appear in RoundSync.
Correct, but I don't know. In order to create an album from a Google Photos, you just identify a photo that has that person in there. You click it, and then it picks up all of the photos that have that name on it.
Yes.
But can you do that with objects rather than just humans?
Well, that's a feature of Google Photos. I know that I have in my collection of pictures an owl that I filmed, that I took a picture of in a tree at the dog park. If I go into Google Photos and type in the word owl, it finds those pictures immediately. So I know that it has the ability to look at that type of a picture and know that there's an owl in it.
Correct. I mean, that I know because, like, for example, I type in dog and I have all the photos that have a dog in there. But my question is, you know, if it's something like a Minuteman statue, it isn't identified easily. And I'm wondering if there is a way of having a image. It's like you Google search. You can put in an image and you say, okay, find images that are kind of same or related, and it will give you a list. But can you do that within your Google Photos to do the same thing?
I don't know. That's a question for somebody who has more Google Photo expertise than I do.
I do know that for search, you can do reverse image search, in which you're doing something similar to that. And TinEye does things like that.
What does it? I
Tin
didn't
Eye
hear.
does things like that for the internet, but for your own stuff, there's probably a few apps that'll do that. They can identify people and maybe even objects. And
Okay,
certainly with the coming of AI, there will be more.
I
okay,
mean,
well,
you could capture all of the pictures. I could take all of the pictures that I have and search for the word owl, put all of
Yep.
those into an album called Owl, and then I can download that using RoundSync.
So RoundSync
Okay.
is already capable of doing something like that. It can group according to not just people, not just names, but also types of objects or animals.
Okay, I mean, for example, if I put in monument, I get tons of photos, but only maybe 5% are the ones that I want. So one way of doing is deleting all the ones that I don't want. But that seems like a kind of a waste of time.
If it were
Yeah,
AI, you could refine the prompt. You could refine the results
Okay.
by giving a new prompt. But
Okay.
AI
Yeah.
would have to get involved in some way.
Perhaps
Well,
you
if
could
anybody
download all-
figures it out, let me know.
It's coming.
It turns out that on an Apple, I just tried it, searching in my photos, and if I search for the word Minuteman statue, it did find one photo that I had that happened to have the words Minuteman statue burnt into the photo, and that was recognized by Apple's photo to text that they run on all photos. And so it didn't recognize the statue necessarily, but I just ran it with the word statue, and I got a bunch of things that are reasonable responses to what a statue is, and they don't have any indication as to what they are. So it can be done.
Yeah, so Google Photos and Apple iPhoto already have the capability, and you can group it into an album and then move the album someplace where you want to have it.
But I think it's fair to say that right now, you have to type somewhere Minuteman statue in your photo title, and then it will find it.
No, AI will scan it using.
No, without a,
Apple doesn't understand the word Minuteman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yet.
You know what,
Will it
you know what you can probably do is if you have your own collection of photos,
Daniel how about statue Daniel French?
yeah,
Well,
statue,
but-
you're right, but something else, general, no, I don't think so.
Each time you have to type something, but I would thought that with facial recognition, you could also do facial / on the statue. So there was take a photo or scan a face of a statue and then search, and that should identify everything that you have in your database. But
or
You could
once you
also.
once you locate once you locate the files, just edit them in Google Photo and put in a word that describes what it is,
Yeah.
and then you can search for it.
I actually, George, with regard to faces, face recognition sometimes does mistake statues for people.
yeah,
I'll have to tell Marcia she has the stuff. I asked for statue. Doesn't matter.
I mean, I will tell you how this came about. I was looking for a good photo of a statue that we have in our backyard, and I would like to search, but I have 16,000 photos, and I'm not, so if I put in statue, I get a ton of statues, some of which are what I'm looking for, but some are not. And I'm kind of looking like, if I identify a statue with a name, Joe or, Aurora in this case, can I search for it? And it would seem with Google search image techniques that you should be able to do that. But anyway, if somebody figures it out, I'll be happy to hear about it.
George, you might want to try searching for statue and Lexington, Massachusetts, the two things. And that way it might narrow the statues down to the things that are local.
That
because
was,
it knows about those two things. It knows about statues and it can do the geolocation based on where you took the picture.
Yeah, don't forget, George, all photos come originally with metadata identifying where and when they were taken.
Yes.
As well as all the camera settings.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to try that. Thank you.
Okay,
So, next application. If you have a modern phone, it has battery optimization technology in it. And there is an app for Android that says it's basically called Don't Kill My App. That's how you search for it in the Google Play App Store. Don't kill my app. And it identified that the manufacturer of my phone is Samsung, that I'm running Android 14. And in here are instructions where to go to change the battery settings for a specific app so that it doesn't get killed unwantingly. Nicely, and it auto detects who your manufacturer is and gives you settings that are specific to your operating system version and device type. Nice. On the next screen, I get a lot of spam and telemarketing calls. Hiya, I don't know if it's in the Apple App Store, but if you run Hiya, Hiya, it will alert you to inbound phone calls that are known telemarketers or other type of spam callers. There's a free tier and a paid tier. I use the free tier and it works pretty nice. If you have a tendency to lose your car in large parking lots, there's an app called Find My Car that uses GPS on your phone, and you simply run it and rate it later, and you just hit the park button when you get out of your car. And I'm inside my house, so the accuracy is only to 20 feet, but if you're outside, it might work a little closer. And then you just put in a little note where you are. And then when you're ready to get back to your car, you just say, find my car. So that's a nice little app. Oops. Don't want anything. This is supported by advertising. So, IP Tools is a good app for people that like to know what their IP settings are on their phone, be able to ping other devices, look at the speed of your network, your IP address, external address, internal address. You can do whois lookups, you can do trace routes. It's got analyzers, port scanners, IP calculators, DNS lookups. So nice little tool to have if you're into that kind of stuff.
Drew, what's an IP calculator?
An IP calculator basically is for IT people that work in setting up routers and things, and it gives you based upon the number you type in, the correct subnet mask, and how many bits it is, and how many clients you can have, and it's a way of calculating how many your how you're going to break up your IP network in your office building.
Thank you, sir.
For those of you who we've had a meeting in the past about note-taking apps, I am still a subscriber to Evernote, but I'm moving to Joplin. This is an Android app, but it also comes for the iPhone, Linux, Windows, and Mac OS. It's open source. And if you are an Evernote user like I am, it has the ability to directly import Evernote notebooks. It does optical character recognition of pictures that it imports as of the latest release on Windows, on the desktop version anyway, not on the mobile version. So if you're interested in a note-taking app that can sync across all your devices, Joplin is a good open source choice. For password managers, in sort of somewhat in relationship to what Steve is going to talk about, I use on Windows and Linux a program called KeePass XC as my password manager. That creates a database file that I store on my Google Drive. And then I can use on my Android phone. I first started using this program here, which is called KeePass #2 Android. And I've since switched to KeePass DX. It's a lot like KeePass CX. It's sort of like the sister app for the Android. Both of them work really well. Both of them will put in your password and your user ID and all that. If I were to go to Google Chrome, and this should bring up my NordLocker cloud storage site. And if I tap in on the login button, it knows already, it remembers that I'm King Drew at King Consulting. So if I tap here, it brings up a password box. I just tap on the password box and you'll see that right here, it says sign in with, and right now it just went blank because it basically is asking me to scan my fingerprint to unlock the database. And now you can see that it found the entry called nordaccount.com and King Consulting, and I'll just tap it and it logs me in. And then it's going to go for a second layer of authentication because this is a client-side encrypted storage server. So again, I'm going to tap the key, and again, it's going to autofill it for me and unlock the database. Never have to type in a user ID or a password on your Android phone if you use KeePass.
Drew, does KeePass support passkeys?
You know, the word.
The not on Android that I'm aware of. I think Steve is going to talk a little bit about this. I think there is a new app that called 1Password that has passkey support on Android. The Windows app that I use and the Linux app that I use called KeePass XC is imminently releasing passkey support. They have announced it as a Q1 2024 release, and it will be in whatever the next .release update is coming out, hopefully in the next several weeks. They have an app and a browser extension, and you pair the browser extension with the database, and somehow they'll fit KeePass passkeys in there.
Steve, go ahead.
Just a quick one. There's not going to be enough time for me to give the presentation on passkeys today. However, I have started to put my notes together, and I've built a page on my wiki. If you're interested, contact me and I can point you to it. You can get a head start on what I'm going to be talking about probably next week. My concentration will be on KeePass, what it is and how it works. Unless I have more time during the next week, I will not be going into great detail on all the different options, for it. I'm hoping KeePass comes out with it in time because I'd like to start using it.
Yeah, so I'm waiting day by day, looking at the version updates of my KeePass database and to see if it is going to be supported. Another app that I use, I'm going to skip over some of this stuff. Let's go to the next page. And Wi-Fi Analyzer is a great app. If you are looking into this is a good timing for this. My network name is Abby. My next door neighbor, or somewhere near me, recently I started having networking issues, network bandwidth issues during Zoom meetings, for example. And it happens on all of my devices. And lo and behold, this guy, Direct-MH, appeared, I don't know, recently. One of my neighbors must have gotten a new router, and it's running on the same exact channel as mine is. And so this app tells me that, and it tells me that the channel is 48, and this app is now going to tell me that a better channel is 149, 153, and 157. So it's letting me know, move the signal move the router to a different frequency or channel. I use this when I go to customers' houses and they're having Wi-Fi issues. Wi-Fi analyzer, any one of these three are good at doing that.
So how do you do that? So let's say my neighbor has the same, how do I change the router?
Well, I use whatever. Some of the newer routers come with Android or iPhone apps that you use to configure them. Others you configure with a web browser and a terminal, and you have to have the login ID and password to your router, and then you can go into the radio and change the frequency. I typically do it on routers that I own or my customers own, but we also do it on Frontier and Comcast as well.
Well, I have Verizon, so
Frontier here is Verizon. Frontier bought Verizon Fios in Florida. So I know that I have a Frontier customer. On the side of their device, there was a sticker with the user ID and password written right on it. I just plugged a laptop with a cable into the router, logged in, and adjusted the frequency. Wasn't a big deal. If you are doing file sharing, if you need to share a file between Android, Windows, Linux, Mac, iPhone, and you want to do it spur of the moment, Snapdrop has become PairDrop. And you can now see on my cell phone, sees my Surface 7, my Chromebook, and my Dell. My Windows computer that I'm looking at right now sees my Surface 7, my Chromebook, and my phone. And I can click on any one of these on any device and transmit a file directly. And they don't have to be on the same subnet. They can be anywhere. I can create a temporary group or a temporary public room. If any one of you were to go to pairdrop.net and type in UACID in the group code, you would join this public room and we could share files until we leave that public room. There's a button over here to do what I did, is pair devices permanently. So my Chromebook and my cell phone and my Windows and my Linux, they all know where they are no matter what network I'm on. If I'm on Wi-Fi or I'm on my cell phone, if I'm home or not at home, it doesn't matter. I can transmit files. If I'm on my cell phone and I click on Dell, which is the computer that I'm actually using right now, and I'll grab a screenshot, it'll pop up a box immediately saying, hey, the S21 would like to share this screenshot with you. Do you want to decline it or accept it? And I'll decline it for now. But if you have an iPhone and an Android phone, on both phones, you go to pairdrop.net and you can share files. You can do that between Windows, Linux, Mac, any device you have. You can share files, and there's no software required. And it uses direct peer-to-peer file transfer through your browser. So no data goes to their servers. I don't know who gets paid or how they get paid to run this thing, but they do. It's another free file sharing app that you can use. And let's see, what else do we have time for? If you,
Drew, just one quick question. I'm sorry for backtracking a little bit. Wi-Fi analyzer, is that available in the App Store for iPhone?
no, it's
It is
only for
not.
Android. No,
Thank you.
no, but you can, what I know that somebody who works in IT like I do and has an iPhone just bought an inexpensive refurb Android phone off Amazon and uses that in Wi-Fi mode only, takes it to his customers' houses and offices and can scan the network. You don't need phone service. You don't need to pay more than $20, $25 to get a phone. So you can do it that way.
Absolutely understood.
Let's see. If
Just
you are,
Just a heads up, it's almost 11:30, so
okay.
just choose wisely unless people want to hang out a long time.
Well, we'll cover the last one because we're sort of talking about a little bit about authentication. 2FAS is a really nice manager for, let me go into security and enable screenshots for 5 minutes. And this is available for Android and iPhone. And it's a really nice two-factor authentication token generator. If you go into settings, it has a backup feature where it can automatically sync to Google Drive so that if you lose your phone, you get a new phone, it automatically restores the data. And you can also import and export to a file. So if you have a son or a daughter and you want to share your two-factor authentication codes so they can generate a two-factor authentication code for your login, you can create your token generator, export that to a file and give it to your son or your daughter, and they can use that to generate tokens for your account to take care of your affairs if that is necessary, which can happen to anybody. So if you're looking for a way to share two-factor authentication token generators, this is an app that can do that. KeyPass XC can do that too. If you share KeyPass XC with your son or daughter or friend, it can handle TOTP authentication as well. So for those people who are looking for ways to share that type of login with somebody. And that's about it.
Is there an advantage to have an authenticator app that generates a token versus having an IM with a token sent to you?
I have it happening in both directions. You know, if I log into Microsoft, they will often send a notice to my cell phone asking me to approve the login. And all I have to do is put my thumbprint on the screen. Other times I have to do the token. What's nice about KeyPass XC is it's free, runs on Windows, Linux, and Mac, and it can do token generation, and you can give them to anybody that you need to that needs to be able to generate two-factor authentication and doesn't necessarily have the ability to receive an SMS text message to your phone.
Yeah, that's the downside, you know, and I run into that now. If I'm trying to do something for my wife and they send the SMS message to her phone, it doesn't help me if the phone isn't sitting next to me.
Yeah,
And-
and there also have been security concerns about SMS codes because it's not as private as people thought.
Well, SMS code is private because when you get the code, you get 6 digits and who knows what you're doing. You know, it's coming from a phone number that unless you know exactly what that phone number means and what application it's associated with, there's a lot of ifs there. So yeah, a lot of people can read it and I don't care who gets the 6-digit code. They need
Yeah.
the other part.
Well, yeah, true.
So yeah, it's good to get away from SMS if you can. A friend of mine recently went on a cruise, lost access to phone service. If you use an authenticator app, all you need is an internet connection. You don't need your phone number.